if their coach can coach. I don't know if their quarterback's good enough. And I don't know if their owner knows what he's doing. But they've got a star, and it's their GM, Joe Douglas. Back-to-back years, he has hit it out of the park in the draft. So they've got one ingredient. I thought Sauce Gardner was the best player I saw in college football. Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, the running back. If you go last year, they got Elijah Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore, and Michael Carter. If you look at those picks in the last 2 years, that's 8 picks. 7 of them, I'm absolutely sure, are going to be good NFL players. I just don't know about Zach Wilson. If he can play, then it all works. And if he can't, you just have a bunch of good young players. But they have found their star in New York. It may eventually be the quarterback. It's currently their general manager. They have drafted out of their minds for the last 2 years. But I've always said in the NFL, you got to have the right owner, the right GM, the right quarterback, and the right coach. Right now, boom, one's done. I think Zach Wilson's good enough, talented enough to potentially make it work. Saleh, big questions on. Owner, don't love. The other team I want to talk about is the Seahawks. So I have, from the Pacific Northwest, I have railed on the Seahawks for years for having no plan. My sources in the NFL have been rolling their eyes at the Seahawks drafts for years. I thought this was the first time in half a decade they had an absolute plan, and they have one going forward. Their plan is, listen, they said this weekend, we're going to stick with Drew Lock and Geno Smith. What they're telling you is, listen, the quarterbacks in the next couple of years in the draft are sensational. We're going to get the house in order, not rush to get one now. So Charles Cross starts at left tackle. Dwayne Brown's expensive, off a bad year and a free agent. They found a left tackle. They got an edge rusher. Kenneth Walker's a star running back. They've got a bunch of B running backs and guys that can't stay healthy. Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, Homer, DJ Dallas. They're either guys or they can't stay healthy. He's a star. And then they went for the next pick, got another offensive tackle and corner, which they desperately need. So what they're telling you is, we're going to get some of these offensive pieces, our tackle, our running back. We're going to get some stuff. And they've got a bunch of picks because of the Russell Wilson deal. So they got 2 firsts next year and 2 seconds. They're also going to have tons of cap space. You know, Russell's gone. Dwayne Brown's going to be gone. Bobby Wagner is gone. So Seattle's saying, listen, we're going to have a lot of picks and a lot of money this year. We're going to finish in 4th. And Pete Carroll's built up enough equity, and the Seahawks are wildly popular, and they've been a great franchise for about 7-8 years. They built up a ton of equity. You can do this. And I think it's the way to do it. Instead of reaching, if you don't think Malik or Kenny Pickett are the guy, hey, we're going to win 4-13. That nobody wants to hear this. But what I see with Seattle is a plan. Dwayne Brown, Bobby Wagner, they a couple years ago let a corner go. They're like, listen, we're going to rebuild this thing. We got to get back in the draft pick game because we don't draft always terribly well, and we got too much money on 3 or 4 guys. I still think eventually they'll probably move off one of their safeties, but I saw a direction, and that's all I want. I always say this, football is not that complicated. If you watch a well-coached team, the Patriots, the Rams, Alabama, Ohio State, if you watch a well-coached team, you can tell in 2 series what they saw on film, what they're attacking. You can tell a game plan and go, oh, they clearly saw interior pressure. They were going to get it on the quarterback. Now, teams will adjust over time. But the first 2 series of a game, a team will tell you what they saw because 80% of teams that lead in college or pro win the game. So teams want to take a lead, and they're going to go right after your liabilities and weaknesses in the first couple series to grab lead, grab control. And so it's the same with drafting. If you just watch a draft and you're like, New England, I don't know what they're doing, there's a chance they don't. And New England has not drafted well for a long time. I thought Seattle, I'm like, oh, I get it. And it's never the case with them. It's a grab bag of nonsense. That's a plan. I totally get it. I like their picks. And if you're a Seahawk fan, you should feel good. We don't need another running back. Yes, you do. You need a star running back because you can't rely on the guys you have, and none of them on a weekly basis. It's a riddle. You never know who's healthy. Hour 3 on a Monday coming up next. Cable TV news networks, left or right, it's all fear-based. I'm over it. Jordan Addison wants to go play with Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley because, one is the best offensive coach in college football, and that's why he got a $100 million contract. And the other, Caleb Williams, is the best college quarterback. If you go ask NFL guys, he would be number one this year, next year, and then the year he's eligible. Like, he's that good. And, he wants to, Jordan wants to play with him. And maybe, I don't know, USC brand's a little bigger than Pitt Panthers brand. I don't know. And the weather's better, and the conference isn't very good, so he's going to light it up. And then watch Jordan Addison be a top 7. He'll be the top wide receiver potentially in the draft next year. So it's not, it's tampering. Why? Because Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison talked? Folks, grow up. Grow up. Kids talk. Get over it. That's the reality of, whenever I hear tampering, it's like, so you've never really had talent or been offered a job. Because if you're talented and have a job, people are going to call you all the time. Coaches, if you have a good college football coach, you tampered. Because he was somewhere else and he left before the contract. But if a player does it, whoa. Now, I do think it's a bit of a wild, wild west scenario right now with college football. Let's put some guardrails up on both the transfer portal and the NIL. But you football fans are hypocrites. You love stealing somebody else's coach. How did Alabama get a coach? Nick Saban was under contract in the NFL. And he said he wasn't going to take the Bama job. You make stuff work. This is not like NASA, governments working against each other, spies. If Jordan Addison wants to text Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams said, bro, you should come out to L.A., man. This is going to be sweet, man. And Jordan's like, yeah, LA's pretty fun. I'm sorry, it doesn't rise to tampering for me.
Why can't a college student athlete take control of their future? This is America. Are we capitalists or something?
That's tampering. Do you really think Lincoln Riley got on the phone? Boy.
So what if he did?
It's not illegal.
I mean, what are we talking about here?
They're scholarships.
Yes. This idea that a college scholarship is some sort of binding blood oath is insane. Relax, dude. It's a college kid who's trying to advance his life. Isn't the whole point of all this? Isn't the point of college to give you better opportunities for your future? Isn't that the whole point of college?
That's the entire point of it.
Okay. So then just relax. He's getting an education, which, by the way, when he's done with football, he can come back and get anytime he wants to.
Yeah.
There's like a time limit on when you can go to school. Isn't it exhausting to just be panicked all the time?
No, it's these people that are just outraged all the time, and sports is college football will be more popular in 5 years than today. And by the way, there are a lot of things happening with USC football, and you don't know what's happening yet. Give it about 12 months, and you're going to see a major announcement with USC football, and you're not going to believe it, and it's all going to make sense. I'll just leave it at that. All right, 2 teams NFL draft. Number 1, the Jets. I don't know